Hello everyone and welcome to The Vortex, where lies and falsehoods are trapped and exposed. I'm Michael Voris. If you take the average Catholic who goes to Mass, and remember that's only 1 in 4, and figure out how much exposure to the faith he actually gets in a given week, you would arrive at the rather dismal figure of 50 minutes. That's it, 50 minutes a week at Sunday Mass. So let's do some math now. There are 10,080 minutes in a week. Only 50 minutes are spent at anything formal where Catholics might learn the faith. That amounts to less than 0.5% of the time. And that's for the Catholics who go to Mass. Remember, that's only 1 in 4. Now, what about the other 99.5% of the week? Well, a lot of it is spent sleeping, of course, but as for the waking hours, the vast majority of the time, a whopping majority is spent being immersed in a culture that sends messages either indifferent to the faith or downright hostile to it. Those messages come in the form of sexual advertising, media pounding that material wealth and awesome looks are all that count. News organizations, when they do seldom mention the church, usually have something negative to say. Think of all the time you're at work and are socializing and hear something bad about the church directly or about one of her teachings indirectly. The throwaway comment, for example, about someone having too many children, or the discussion about how someone's vasectomy went, and on and on. There's practically no escape. Standing in line at the grocery checkout, you see nothing but headlines that this couple is getting divorced, or that star is marrying again, or this celebrity is gay and happy and raising his test tube baby together with his gay partner. Yep, inmates have taken over the asylum. The world as we have come to learn of it is passing away before our eyes, and we spend less than 0.5% of our time in Mass learning anything substantive about the faith. Now, when we stop to consider that for many people in a large number of parishes, the liturgy has practically been eviscerated of its meaning and has been replaced by a human-centered, God-marginalized event that, while still valid certainly, oftentimes does not feed the spiritual needs of the congregation who must live in the swamp of a decaying culture. When you consider all of that, we must ask ourselves, in all honesty, are we doing enough? Is enough being done to combat the world? Even on the most rudimentary, basic, foundational level, the amount of time we spend being Catholic, is it enough? How much is enough? On one level, being Catholic is something you do 24 hours a day. You just are Catholic. But on another level, it's mighty difficult to be Catholic when so much around you tempts you, tries to pull you away, suggests other alternatives, mocks or denigrates you for your Catholicism. Trying to stay faithful while only being around the faith in any formal manner for way less than 1% of the time, while being immersed in temptation and distraction, is akin to trying to stay faithful in marriage when you spend less than 1 hour a week with your spouse and much of the rest of the time around single people partying and sleeping around. It's going to be tough. On a practical level, this is exactly why the liturgy must be a thing of beauty, which through words, music, and preaching must lift us out of ourselves and elevate our minds and souls to their rightful end. The current morass of the Mass must be fixed by the clergy. The current cultural conditions are the reason why the laity have the duty to spend so much more of their time immersed in the faith beyond just Mass. Parents may need to reassess how much time the kids spend at soccer, swimming, tennis, golf, camping, hockey, dance, gymnastics, basketball, and get spiritual balance back in the family life. In the midst of all of that, does your family pray together? Things are so far out of whack and have been for so long that nothing less than a reordering, a reshaping of Catholics' lives will do. From the clergy to the laity, too many of us have spent too much time blending into the world instead of being its leaven. Do we really have time for weekly book clubs and socials and a whole world of activities that make no room or allowance for the faith? The answer is no. Catholics have a special responsibility owing to their baptism and reception of Holy Communion to save the world. It is a sacred duty, a God-given honor. We don't get to act like the rest of the world. We don't get to shuffle our honor off into the corner for 50 minutes a week and spend the other 10,030 minutes of the week doing other stuff. And, oh yeah, don't forget that one nagging little thing hanging out there that 3 out of every 4 Catholics in America don't even spend 50 minutes a week being Catholic. And Catholics in America, shockingly, have some of the highest Mass attendance in the West. That's disturbing. So what can we do? Well, it's actually pretty easy. Read, study, form prayer groups, discussion groups, go to conferences, retreats, go online and learn. Simply change the type of socializing you do so that it includes people who love the faith and try to live it. Now, all this isn't to say to go retreat into some Catholic cave somewhere, although there is precedence. It's just to say, do you really think that spending 99.5% of your time away from what needs to be the center of your life is really the best way to grow spiritually? Really? Is 50 minutes out of 10,080 really doing it for you? Now, that's a pretty straightforward question for all of us, if we have the time. God bless you. I'm Michael Voris.
Please help us keep delivering these kinds of messages that so desperately need to be heard and acted on. Join RealCatholicTV.com today as a premium subscriber. Become immersed in the faith established by Jesus Christ. The Catholic Church is the only hope against evil because that is its God-given mission. As our Lord said, apart from me, you can do nothing. Join RealCatholicTV.com today as a premium subscriber and come to learn and love Christ more deeply.